remember what I'm supposed to be doing right now, which is to, to give a little sermon right this moment. So here it is. Here it is. Judaism is big into memory. Thank you. I'll stop now. Over and over again, our texts and their teachers command us to always remember and to never forget. Never forget that you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Remember Shabbat and keep it holy. Remember that you should uphold the rights of the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. To help us remember, we've developed mnemonics, letters, words, objects, devices that aid us in remembering. Mnemonics that jog our Jewish memories and work our Jewish minds. For instance, 10 fingers, 10 commandments. We developed a 4-sided spinning top with the letters, the Hebrew letters for a great miracle happened there. Religious symbols are essentially mnemonics. If I show you, it's so hard to see. If I show you, that. If I show you that, you're supposed to remember this. The Exodus. If I show you this, that's a shofar if you can't see it, you're supposed to think of, well, right now, these 10 days of repentance. Now, earlier this year, I read a book. Maybe you read it. The book is called Moonwalking with Einstein. Have any of you read it? It's a good book. I got the thumbs up from Christopher. No, that's excellent. That's a good recommendation. Now, reading this book helped me to learn some new memory techniques, particularly one called the memory palace. It's an ancient Greek idea. Humans, by and large, are very good at remembering faces. We are very good at remembering visual images, but we aren't good at remembering lists of words or numbers, and it's even harder with foreign words, foreign languages. Now, the general idea with most memory techniques is to change whatever boring thing is being inputted into your memory into something so colorful, so exciting, and so different from anything else so that you can't possibly forget it. Here's an example that is probably universally known by beginning learners of Hebrew. This is the Hebrew word mazleg. It means a fork. So to remember this one, here is a mnemonic. There's mazleg. And then you put a fork into it, and you'll never forget what the meaning of mazleg is. But the concept of a memory palace takes this idea one step farther. The idea is simply this: to create a space in the mind's eye, a place that you know well. It doesn't have to be a palace. It can be your own home. But it needs to be a place you can easily visualize and around which you know your way. And then you populate that imagined place with images representing whatever you want to remember. It's your mind's eye, so you can choose anywhere you want, and you can put anything you want in it. So I thought to practice this memory technique, called the memory palace, which is quite useful once you get the hang of it, we would use a palace that most of us know quite well. That's Temple Israel. Many of us grew up here, or are growing up here, and we know our way around. So if I say, let's meet in the library, you know how to get there, or to get to the sanctuary, or to get to the atrium. And I thought what we'd do tonight is work to remember 4 words and a set of ideas that have to do with the High Holy Days. ideas that we are going to encounter repeatedly during the next 10 days. So let's start with this one. That says kavod. What does kavod mean? Sir? Good. Honor and respect. He's completely right. All right? Now, I thought for kavod, we would work with, do you know who that is? Who is it? Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, an octogenarian member of the tribe. Now, what do you call judges? Your Honor. So I thought we'd put her honor in Rabbi Friedman's office, and then we give her a phone, and so she's calling Comcast, for video on demand. Vod. Kavod. And I bet you will never forget what kavod means. Here's another one. Tefillah. Tefillah means prayer. Prayer. Now remember this. You have to remember this rule. You want to create something that is so unique in your mind that you can't possibly forget it. So this is what I thought of for tefillah. That is Mr. T. A lot of you do not know who Mr. T is. But if you're my age and grew up in the 80s, Mr. T has never left your memory. And so what I did was I put Mr. T in the sanctuary, praying, of course, for some tefillahs. Tefillah. Tefillah. You're starting to get the use of this. And it's fun. One more. This one's a little bit more complicated. Tzedakah. Tzedakah, as you know, if you're being educated here at Temple Israel, does not mean charity. What it does mean is, Zoe, proper conduct, righteous activity. And so here's how I thought we'd remember this one. This is the atrium, and that, right in the sunspot, is our tzedakah box. Familiar to you guys? Yes. What I did was, that's my friend Ed Wolf. Ed Wolf is a member of this congregation. He happens to be in Montreal right now with his family for this holiday. And although he has a doctorate in philosophy, I thought I'd make him this kind of doctor. And that's Ed, and Ed's making a house call, which then means that's Edaka. Edaka. A house call is one way to practice tzedakah, to visit the ill at home. I have one more for you for tonight. Teshuvah. Teshuvah. Couldn't think of a better word for these 10 days. What does that word mean? Teshuvah means what? It's good I brought this one. What does teshuvah mean? Forgiveness is an act within teshuvah. Good. What else does it mean? Over there, Sam. It does mean turning. It means turning. It means to recognize what we've done wrong and the 10 days of repentance, the 10 days of teshuvah, and to turn, to recognize what we've done wrong, to ask for forgiveness, and then in turn, start the new year fresh. Now that's what teshuvah means. This is my friend Ava Linus. Where are you, Ava? She's right there, right? Ava, her family calls her Va. Va. And I'm going to put Va in the cantor's office. That's Cantor Einhorn's office. I'm going to bring back, though, Mr. T, who's now crying because he's asking for forgiveness from Ava. And so you can remember teshuvah as teshuvah. During the last few years, here at Temple Israel, in our school, we started teaching terms, Hebrew terms spoken by Jews around the world, a curriculum that we call cultural literacy, or more popularly within our school, it's called the Word of the Week. All of these have been cultural literacy terms. And when I thought about what we should do in this coming year with our list, is that all throughout this year, we're going to populate our memory palace. Every time we learn a new term, I'm going to turn to you, to the students, to help us figure out how we're going to remember it. But in the meantime, as this 10 days period keeps going, when you encounter tzedakah, kavod, tefillah, and teshuvah, you'll remember Ed as a doctor, and you'll remember her honor. And then there's Mr. T praying for some filahs. And of course, there's teshuvah. Even more, when you remember these terms, and you're all going to hear them again tomorrow morning, you'll enact them. You'll do them. Because as Jews, we remember in order to do. Shana Tovah.